3 simple math tricks that help me save $200 a month on food. You click this video because you feel like you're spending a lot on food. And it's even worse if it's not only you spend for. No gimmicks, no tricks. Stick around to the end of the video as I'll break down how you can save up to 3 grand for the year on food. That way you can reinvest that money into other things. So why this matters is because most people have bad spending habits, especially when it comes to food. And because of something we call convenience, most people are not actually aware of how much they're spending on things like eating out, you know? And these are mental math habits anybody can implement immediately. And you don't need to sacrifice nutrition or satisfaction. So let's break it down. So the first trick you need to implement is breaking things down per meal. Why do I say this? Because you don't realize how much you're spending each day when you eat out versus if you were to do groceries. When you do groceries, the typical range to aim for is between $2.50 to $5 per meal. And if you eat 3 meals a day, on the high end, you'll be spending 5 times 3, which equates to $15 for the day of food. Breakfast, lunch, supper. That equates to 75. That equates to 105 for the week, which equates to 420 for the month. If you're doing grocery shopping and if you are breaking it down by $5 meals, 3 meals of the day. Okay? If you eat out, that changes significantly. So I broke down some examples based on averages in Canada. So breakfast $20, lunch 25, dinner 40. That's about 85 for the day, which turns into how much for the week? Let's break it down in front of you. So I got my calculator here, and we will do the math right in front of you. So 85 for the day, 7 days of the week, all right? 595 just for the week. Do you want to know how this is for the month? Oh, nope, I didn't mean to do that. That's 2,300 and something. Yeah, $2,380 for the month just on food. That's insane. That's like rent plus. Okay? Let's say you don't even eat $85 per day. Let's say you eat relatively close to half of it, right? $40 for the day eating out times 7 days of the week, 280 for the week, and 280 times 4, 1100. Yeah, 1100 and 20. That's insane, folks. That's just on food. So anyways, let's get out of here. Oh, let's go back to my board, which is, nope, that's not it. Let's go back to my board right here. So you want to break things down per meal. If you do grocery shopping, typically it is ideal to get a $5 meal per day. $5 meal times 3 meals, $15 per day, 105 per week, 420 for the month. Obviously, there's going to be sacrifices, yes. Let's see what there are. So, your options are limited, yes. You're not going to be able to eat out as much, yes. But do you want to invest more money or do you want to say that you were able to eat fancy meals out? And keep in mind, the numbers I gave you for meals you're eating out, those are average meals. Those are not even like your best top tier meals. So imagine how much more you're spending. So keep that in mind. So trick number 2 is breaking things down per 100 grams, per pound, stuff like that. For example, if you want to buy 1 kilogram of rice, and 1 kilogram of rice is, let's say, $10, right? Let me bring my calculator again. So 1 kilogram, $10. Let's try to see how much that would be for 100 grams. So 100 grams is 10. 100 grams to get 1 kilogram is 10 times. All right. So let's if it's 100, if it's $10 for 1 kilogram, that would mean it would be what, 10 cents per 100 grams, or sorry, not 10 cents, $1 per 100 grams. So if you see something on the shelf that is 100 kilograms or 100 grams, I should say, for $2, you think that you're spending less because it's $2, but you're actually not, because that $2 becomes 200, or it becomes $20 for per um, 1 gram or 1 kilogram. So let me break that down again because it didn't make sense the way I said it. So you want to break things down per 100 grams, per pound, and so on. If you see something on the shelf, let's say for $10 per 1 kilogram, and you see something else for $2 for 100 grams, if you break it down to 1 kilogram, you're actually spending more, if that makes sense. Even though you're spending $2 versus $10, if you break it down per 1 kilogram, you're spending more. That's what I'm trying to say. So, in short, buying in bulk will be better for you. So, let's break down why in detail and how to pick things that you like so that you don't waste food. Okay, I hope that made sense. I hope that made sense. So the second point I have here is, if you're going to buy in bulk, ensure you get items you will use that you won't waste. So if you buy a big bag of rice that is 2 kilograms, for example, and you spent $20 for it, that means that for each 100 grams, you're spending $1, right? But if you buy a little bag for, let's say, 500 grams, and you spent, I don't know, $5 for it, you're spending more, right? But if you're gonna buy a bag for 2 kilograms for the $20, ensure that you use the bag. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, that's trick number two. Break things down by the 100 gram, by the pound, and so on, to compare prices, to for you to know how much you're spending in bulk. So trick number three: try to have a weekly cap. So if you aim for $100 per week, for example, you're going to be spending about 400 a month. If you don't have strict caps, you will overspend. So ensure that each week you have a cap, so that every 2 weeks you know how much you'll be spending. For example, like I said, if I said 100, for every 2 weeks you'll be spending 200, which equates to about 400 for the month. Okay? That way you'll be able to save a lot of money, potentially over $200 a month, if you implement these things I talked about. So the bonus, how this will help you invest at least $2,000 for the year. So let's say implement this for the next 12 months. Let's say even implement it for half the year. Based on what we talked about, on you spending potentially between $40 to $85 per day on food if you eat out. Imagine what that would equate to if you did this consistently for 6 months. You're spending over $200 a month on food. So you're going to be saving a lot more. I should correct myself when I say that. You're spending over $500 on food if you're eating out. Easily. So if you implement what I talked about, you'll be saving at least 200, which equates to about 2,400 for the year. So you're going to be saving that money if you implement what I'm talking about here. So number one, making sure to ensure that each meal of the day is $5 maximum. Implement that for 3 meals, that's $15 a day. For a week, that's $105. For the month, that's 420. Next, making sure to break things down by the 100 grams, by the pound, and so on. To compare prices to know exactly what you're spending if you are not buying in bulk. Three, making sure to have a weekly cap that you don't go over. So in this example, we use $100. That way, every 2 weeks you're spending 200. For the month you're spending 400. In the case we use for the 5 meals each, for the $5 per meal, 3 meals of the day, it will be about 420 for the month. So your weekly cap will be 105 in this case. Bonus, take what you were going to spend if you ate out, add all that up, and find out how much you actually saved between the 6 to 12 month time frame. That's a lot of money, folks. So I hope this video gave you a lot of information to implement right away. I hope I wasn't all over the place with how I was speaking. But if you have any more questions and concerns and you want me to do a secondary video to this, I can definitely do that. I created a group for busy professionals like you and I, working 60 to 80 hours per week, that want to implement fitness without making it their whole life, without living at the gym. The group is Mulo System. For more details on that, it will be in the description. This group has a lot of things. So weekly calls, Q&As, workouts, a classroom where you can learn a lot about things like this, budgeting for groceries, specific exercises, workouts, and so much more. So definitely check out the links in the description to have access to that. It is a paid group, but it will benefit you very much. But other than that, thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, stay tuned for more videos. May God bless you. I'll see you next video.